I've got two exciting things to show you today. First, the kind people at Algo sent me a laser engraver to test out for you. So I'm going to put it to the test and I'm going to make some beautiful laser cut butterflies, and then I'm going to make a necklace. Stick around to the end and I will show you how you can get these butterflies even if you don't have a laser. Hello, welcome to The Stylish Maker. My name's Carol. I'm excited today to be reviewing the Algo Alpha MK2 laser engraver, but this review almost didn't happen. So in complete transparency, Algo did send me this laser for me to test out for you. However, this review is based on my genuine experience and opinion as a person who's fairly new to laser engraving. You may have seen some of my previous tutorials where I use the X-Tool F1. The X-Tool F1 is a 10-watt diode laser, and the Algo Alpha MK2 is a 20-watt diode laser. The X-Tool has a work area of 115 millimeters, and the Algo Alpha has a work area of 400 millimeters, which means that you can cut large projects nice and quickly, and you can also cut material that is quite thick. Now, if you want to jump straight to the tutorial where I make the necklace, I'll leave you a time code in the description box below, and you can click on that and it will take you directly to the place where I start the necklace tutorial. But if you would like to know more about this laser, then stick around. We did have some problems getting this laser up and running, but thanks to Algo, we got there in the end. To be honest, the problem was us and our lack of experience with the software Lightburn. But we had quite a few emails backwards and forwards with Algo, and they sent us some very informative little videos, and we got there in the end. I can't thank Algo enough for their patience. Algo states that this laser is super easy to set up and to use. And once we got over our little error problem, they are correct. It is super easy to set up and super easy to use. The laser is packed incredibly well. The first thing you will find in the box is the consumables packet, which contains a selection of materials for you to engrave on and try out, as well as the user manual. They also provide you with a decent sized piece of 3mm basswood to test the engraver on. Like I said, the laser is packed incredibly well. The laser requires some construction, but if you've ever put together flat packed furniture, you already have the skills to put this laser together. These are the front and back pieces of the laser, along with its power cable and power brick. The Alpha also comes with an air assist pump, which is extremely useful. Algo also shipped this laser with 2 replacement lenses, which is awesome. This little doohickey is what you use to focus your laser. They also provide you with safety goggles. We're now on to layer 2 of the box. This is the X-axis and one of the sides of the laser, which confused us when we started constructing. In the manual, these 2 pieces are illustrated as not being connected, but they are, and this did throw us off a little, but we watched a YouTube video and that resolved the problem. All the bolts, screws and tools you need to construct this laser are all supplied in this handy dandy little box. The construction of this laser is really sturdy and feels like it's designed to last. This is the actual laser unit, and it too feels like a really solid build. Algo also sent us this honeycomb bed, which we will use when we want to use the laser to cut materials. Having the metal honeycomb bed not only saves your bench from being damaged, but also provides airflow under your materials to assist with the cutting. The manual is super easy to follow, and you'll find one manual for the laser and another one for the air assist pump. Algo also include a selection of materials for you to test the laser with, including some 3mm black acrylic and metal business cards. You also get a small brush for cleaning and some cable ties. Now, Andy wanted to do the construction, so I just let him go for it. But like I said, it was super simple. Basically, you have the front of the laser, which has an LED touch screen that you can use to control the lasers. A back, and then an X-axis rail that the laser unit is mounted to. You do not need any specialty tools to put this together, and in fact, Algo provides you with all the tools you need. Cable management is well organised and everything just clips and snaps into place. While we did have the manual, we also watched videos on the Algo YouTube channel just to make sure that we were putting it together correctly. There is something immensely satisfying about moving the laser unit up and down and back and forth. We're getting close to the moment of truth. Removing that plastic from screens is always fun. The laser also has a few good safety features, including an emergency stop button and a key that you can use to lock the laser. This would be really useful in a classroom environment where the laser is accessible to multiple people and you wanted to make sure people couldn't use it unless they were allowed to. With the laser now up and running, we needed something to cut, so we decided to make some butterflies. Andy illustrated these using Affinity Designer, but you can find heaps of designs online. I'll include a link to the SVG for you if you want to make these as well. Andy and I are still quite new to laser engraving, and the Algo Alpha doesn't come with proprietary software except their mobile app. So we decided to use Lightburn, which a lot of people who use laser engravers use. For the material, we decided to use a 3mm walnut plywood. We wanted to make sure that we would not get any marks on our beautiful wood, so we did cover the wood with tape while we did the cutting. We cut the butterflies using a speed of 250mm per minute and a power setting of 100%. Lightburn is only our second experience with laser engraving and cutting software. Compared to the Xtool Creative Space software, it's a lot more advanced, and when we first set up the laser, this is where we made our mistake. But like I said, Algo helped us and sent us some videos on how to set up the laser in Lightburn. This laser is really fast, and these butterflies only took 5 minutes to cut out. Here are the final pieces. So here's the cut, and we just need to pop them out. And now I'm going to take off the green tape. And if you can't get it off, I'm going to use my Cricut tool. Just be careful not to damage the walnut veneer. So I'll go ahead and take all of the tape off the butterflies. Now they did leave some little marks on my mat, but that's okay, they'll wash off. Before we get on and make the necklace, I want to talk to you about the materials I'm using today. And I will leave you a link in the description box below to a blog post which contains links to everything I've used. So I used some 8x6mm faceted rondelles. These are mauve and they have an AB finish. And I really liked the fact that these are sparkly and the butterflies aren't. They're kind of matte and organic, and the juxtaposition of this beautiful bead with its sparkles compared with the kind of natural finish of the butterfly. I also used some 4mm beaded rondelles. I've got some 6mm jump rings. I've got a 12mm lobster clasp. I've got some 4mm check glass drucks. I also have 2 4mm jump rings. I've got a little dangle for the end of my extender chain. I've also got some chain here. I've got 3 pieces. One is 4 centimeters long and the other 2 are 2 centimeters long. And this is just a cable twist chain. As well as that, I've got some eye pins, and that's all we need to make the necklace. You will also need some tools. I've got 2 pairs of chain nose pliers. I've got a pair of round nose pliers, and I've also got a pair of flush cutters. If you're new to any of the techniques I'm using today, I will leave you links to the video tutorials for them in the description box below. The first thing we're going to do is make up our components, and we're going to start that with an eye pin. We're going to thread on 2 of our daisy spacer beads, 1 of our beaded rondelles, and 2 more daisy spacer beads. And that is what I have now. Now I'm going to take my chain nose pliers and I'm going to make a bend as close as I can to the top of those beads, like that. Next, I'm going to take my flush cutters and I'm going to cut off the end at about 1 centimetre from the bend. Now you do need to make sure you're using the flush side of your cutters, not the divoted side. So you want the flush side facing the part you're keeping. And the reason for this is you want a nice round loop, and you will get it when you use the flush side. So holding the end, just cut that end off. That's what I have now. Next, I'm going to take my round nose pliers and I'm going to put the end of the wire into the jaws. I'm not sure whether you can see this, but I have a mark on my pliers here, and if I line my wire up with that mark every time, my loops will all be the same size. When you put your wire into the jaws of the pliers, you want to make sure that it's not sticking up. So run your finger over and make sure that the wire isn't sticking up. I like to tuck my thumbnail into the bend there, and then you just kind of push away and down at the same time. So turn your wrist and pushing down at the same time. Take your pliers out, turn your hand back and put them in again. There is my component. Now what I need to do is make sure that my loops are both facing the same way. So I'm going to take this loop in my pliers and this loop in my other pliers, and they're pretty close, but they're not quite right. So you just wiggle until your pliers are both facing the same way. Now I need 2 of those components, so I'm going to make another one. Now I've made 2 of these, I'm going to make a different component, just using an eye pin like before. So taking my eye pin, and this time I'm going to thread on one of my 4mm drucks. Once again, 2 of my little beaded rondelles, or spacer beads, and 1 of my rondelles, and just reverse that. So 2 more daisy spacers or beaded rondelles, and 1 more druck. That's what I have now. Now I'm going to make a bend in the top of the wire like I did with the other component. Now I'm going to trim off the wire to about 1 centimetre from that bend. And now I'm going to make a loop. And once again, I need to make sure that both of my loops are going the same way. And there is my component. Now I need 6 of these, so I'm going to go ahead and make another 5. Now I've got all my components made, I'm going to put this necklace together, and I'm going to start off with some jump rings. So I'm using my 6mm jump rings for this. And I want to open my jump ring. If you haven't seen this before, as I said, I'll leave you a link below. And I'm going to put on my large butterfly. Now do be careful with your butterflies because you can very easily scratch the veneer. So just be careful when you're putting things together. And I'm going to close up my jump ring. I'm going to do that on the other side as well. This jump ring happens to be open, but you do need to open it quite wide to go on the butterfly. And just double checking that your jump rings are nicely closed. And that's what I have now. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on my small butterflies. Sorry to interrupt. I realised during editing that I forgot to tell you where you can buy the butterflies if you don't have a laser, and all the other supplies that I use to make this necklace as well. I'll leave you a link in the description box to a blog post, and that will contain links to everything that I used today. As well as that, I'll leave you a link to the butterflies, which I sell in my store. Now, back to the regular programming. Now I've attached all of my jump rings to my butterflies, it's time to connect them using the connectors that I just made. But I decided to add some jump rings just because it made the butterflies sit better. So I'm going to take my two components here and I'm going to add a jump ring to each one. So just using the same technique, this one happens to be open, so I can just pop that on and close up my jump ring. And I'm going to do that on the other end as well. So taking my jump ring and opening it and popping it on. And I want to do that to both of my components. And there are my two components with their jump rings attached. Now I'm going to take another jump ring and I'm going to attach these to the big butterfly. So taking a jump ring, opening it, feeding on my butterfly, or the jump ring attached to my butterfly, and the jump ring I just attached to my component, and closing up my jump ring. And I want to repeat that for the other side. There's my butterfly with its two components attached. Now I want to repeat that to attach the small butterflies to the component as well. So taking a jump ring and opening it and feeding on the last jump ring of that component and the butterfly jump ring, making sure I get it the right way around. And just repeat for the other side. This is what I have so far. Next, I want to connect these components together. So I'm going to make 2 runs of 3 using my jump rings to connect them. This is actually a super easy necklace to make. So opening my jump ring and connecting, threading on 2 of my components and closing that up. That's what I have now, and I'm going to repeat that on this end so I have a run of 3. There we go, there's my run of 3. Now I'm going to repeat that for the other side so I have another run of 3 as well. If you're interested in making the jewellery I'm wearing today, I will leave you a link for the tutorial for the earrings and also for the necklace. As far as the bracelets are concerned, this one here is a memory wire bracelet and these 2 are stretch bracelets, and I'll leave you links for the tutorials for that technique as well. Let's finish putting our necklace together. I need to put another jump ring on the end of these components, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. It's taking my pliers and opening my jump ring just like before, feeding that on and closing it up. And I'm going to repeat that for the other side as well. And that's what that looks like now. Now I'm going to join this jump ring to this jump ring using another jump ring. So opening my jump ring and feeding on my jump ring attached to my small butterfly and the jump ring I just attached to the end of that component and closing up my jump ring. If your jump rings don't close at first, what you do is you wiggle your hand up and down, moving this hand towards this hand. If you're enjoying this tutorial, it would be wonderful if you would subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and also give me that thumbs up. Thank you. But as I said, I'll leave you a link to a tutorial all about jump rings. Here's my necklace so far, and it's not quite long enough for me. And I decided not to add another component here. I could have added more of these, but I decided not to do that because I wanted to make it so that my necklace could be worn at different lengths. So I decided to add some chain instead. And that's where my little pieces of chain come in. As I said, I've got one piece that is 4 centimeters long, and I've got 2 pieces that are 2 centimeters long. The 4 centimeter long piece will be for my extender chain. So I'm going to put that aside for now, and I'm just going to use these 2 pieces. So I'm going to take a jump ring and open it, and I'm going to feed on one piece of chain, so the end link of my piece of chain, and I'm going to feed on the end loop of my last component. And I'm going to close up my jump ring. And then I'm going to repeat for the other side. And as you can see, I've now got the chain attached to the end of the necklace. Okay, now is where my 4mm jump rings come in. I'm going to open my 4mm jump ring, and I'm going to feed on my clasp and the end of my chain. And then I'm going to close up my jump ring. And there is my clasp on the end of my chain. Now I need to do the other side, and I need to make up my extender chain. So let's make the extender chain first. Take your 4mm jump ring and open it. And you want to feed on the little loop on the end of your dangle. The dangle was optional. I really like to put a little dangle on the end. It just kind of finishes it off nicely, but you don't have to do that. And then I'm going to put on the chain and close up my jump ring. So you could skip this step if you wanted to. And there's my extender chain with its little dangle attached. And this is the same technique you would use to make an extender for any necklace. Next, you're going to take the necklace, the side without the clasp, and you're going to take another 6mm jump ring, and you're going to open it. And now we're going to feed on the end of our chain from our necklace and the end of our chain from our extender, and close up your jump ring. And there's my clasp with its extender chain. Here's my necklace on. Let me know what you think of it in the comments section below. I'd like to give a big shout out to Algo for sending me the laser so that I could bring you this video today. Thank you so much for watching today. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you again soon.